So this weekend, Ian Garry is fighting Vicente Luque, and a lot of people, myself included, we're rooting for Vicente Luque to get this one done, but obviously, most of us are picking Ian Garry to win this, and like I say, myself, I am picking Ian Garry to win this. I think it's a good stylistic matchup for Ian Garry, but at the same time, it's not an impossible task for Vicente Luque to win this. This isn't like a complete nightmare matchup for him where it's like, fuck, it's hard to see him winning this. He definitely has a very good shot of getting this fight done. It is, I'm not going to say slim, but it is, it does have an uphill task given his defense sometimes. He can eat quite a lot of shots. But I generally do think he has a good shot of winning this. I don't think it's a super one-sided fight. Maybe he'll look one-sided and then maybe Vicente Luque will turn it around, but I do think he definitely has a good shot of winning this, and I'm going to explain my ways on how I think he can achieve victory in this fight, even knowing, it's going to be a very hard task. So I want to talk about the first thing, which I think is the key path to victory here for Vicente Luque, is he needs to bait Ian Garry into throwing a hook to the body. He needs to bait him into going for body shots, and he needs to counter him with that left hook, sort of similar to how Song Kanan is. Obviously, it's easy to say that, obviously, yeah, it's going to be a lot harder than that. It's not that easy to bait him, especially because he knows that's a flaw. He said it himself. He's not going to go in and try and do that again like he did against Song Kanan, but sometimes habits die hard. You can say you're going to quit a habit, but the habit doesn't go away. I think I've seen him throw that same move against Neil Magny. So, that maybe it's just because he doesn't see Neil Magny as a power threat or anything like that. But anyone can shut your lights off. I generally do believe if Vicente Luque lands that shot that Song Kanan lands, he can definitely get this one done. Obviously, I know it is a pretty simple thing to say. Oh, if Ian Garry, goes for the body shot, he can just time a left hook. I know I make it sound really simple. It's not. It's going to be hard to do. I feel like Vicente Luque is definitely going to have to take a lot of damage to set that up. And even then, who knows? Ian Garry might be wise to it. He does have good head movement, but I just think he's so hittable at times. Like, his defense really isn't that good. Like, I know he doesn't. Like, if you look at his fights, he actually gets touched up a lot. People don't talk about this, but he was getting touched up by Jordan Williams. Darian Weeks was winning the point fighting the point fighting against Ian Garry. Like, Ian Garry couldn't really land many shots on him. Obviously, Darian Weeks a lot more defensively sound than Vicente Luque, also less aggressive. So obviously, it's going to be a tough matchup for Ian Garry to figure out. But I do think if we look at it this way, like, Ian Garry doesn't have the best chin, so there's bound to be a moment on the feet. I know this is like a cop out. Like I said, I'm not picking Ian Garry to win. I'm not picking Vicente Luque to win this. I do think Ian Garry's going to win, but I'm just saying that is like somewhere I could see him catching him. Another thing I could see him doing is like just the most Vicente Luque way to win. I could see Vicente Luque just chatting his way to victory, pulling a Dricus du Plessis fucking type victory here. I could see him just coming out, just fucking going straight towards Ian Garry. Obviously, it could backfire. I could see him getting kneed up the middle, getting KO'd out cold. That could generally happen if he did fight with this very aggressive style I'm suggesting he does, but maybe that's how he's going to win. He just needs to make Ian Garry really uncomfortable, just run at him, kick him into the leg, just fucking press him against the fence and just unload bombs. Obviously, I'm not suggesting he does do that. I'm just saying this is maybe a way he could get the victory here, pressuring him. Obviously, we did see him against Gabe Green. He did beat the shit out of Gabe Green. But also, one thing I want to talk about is one of the only things Gabe Green really had success with against Ian Garry was mixing it to the body. Maybe he was just off, maybe it was just an off-balance shot or something, but when he got hit to the body, he really went fucking flying. Maybe it was a bad step he took after that, but when Gabe Green hit Ian Garry to the body, he literally went fucking flying into the fence. Like, I don't know, I feel like that's not something people mention. I've watched all of Ian Garry's UFC fights in preparation for this video, so hopefully I didn't miss anything. But I'm just saying, I noticed in the Gabe Green fight, body shots, when he gets hits to the body, he goes fucking flying. I feel like Vicente Luque could really land some good body shots in Ian Garry. Like, Ian Garry, very talented fighter, like we really haven't. Like I know he got dropped by Song Kanan, but we haven't seen him in a back and forth war. That was more like, oh, he got caught with a bad shot, and it took him a while to recover. He didn't recover straight away. His recovery didn't, it wasn't like a super quick recovery from getting rocked. I feel like his recovery is actually sort of slow. I don't think his chin's that good either. Like, I don't know. He only reason he survived that wasn't anything to do with his own skill set or his recoverability or anything like that. It was all because Song Kanan had low fight IQ and kept going for takedowns there. Like, he was trying to wrestle him, but Ian Garry seemed to have pretty good balance, or even then he did get taken down, but he seems to have good get-ups. But again, Song Kanan's not a grappler. Like, I feel like if it was Vicente Luque in that position, I think he's just pounding the fuck out of Ian Garry's head. Sort of similar to how he did Randy Brown. I feel like he's just doing those brutal uppercut ground strikes to his head, just brutalizing him until he's out cold. Like let's be honest, that's probably what Vicente Luque is doing in that position. Song Kanan, on the other hand, is trying to like fucking wrestle him with 20 seconds to go. And I didn't understand that. That was a really weird fight IQ there from Song Kanan. But onto another point, I feel like Vicente Luque, with his style that we've seen against RDA, is something he could generally get this fight done at. We haven't actually seen how Ian Garry's like overall takedown defense is. We have seen him get taken down by Darian Weeks, but that's fucking, he got down and then got right back up. But we don't know what he's like if he gets chain wrestled. We haven't seen him get chain wrestled. He hasn't fought an actual like grappler, and I know Vicente Luque is not really a chain wrestler himself, but against RDA he really went strong to the wrestling there. He showed he has competent enough grappling to go out there and use the gold standard of beating RDA, which is just to wrestle fuck him. And Vicente Luque went out and did that. I could see that as a path to victory here, just taking down Ian Garry. Maybe Ian Garry gets a bit too aggressive. Vicente Luque gets his legs, does a trip on him or something. Obviously, judo background, strong hips. It's going to be hard for Vicente Luque to keep him down. I feel like maybe he can get him down, and then when he gets up, maybe he can just try and land some bombs on him as he's trying to get back to his feet. Obviously, I don't think he can go in there and hold Ian Garry down, but we don't really know much about his takedown defense or what he's like off his back, because all the times he's been taken down, he does get up really quickly. Obviously, like I say, judo black belt, has very strong hips, good base, good get-ups. I don't know if his overall takedown defense is that great, but he does have good get-ups from what I can see. Obviously, like I say, this is a tough fight for Vicente Luque, but I'm just looking at ways he could get this one done. Like I say, making it a dogfight, timing a hook off a body shot. There is some paths to victories. Like, Ian Garry's got tall man defense. His defense isn't that great. I know he moves his head and he looks fancy and flashy, but he gets tagged a lot. He leg kicks a lot against his opponents. But I feel like Vicente Luque, he throws pretty good leg kicks. I feel like he could go out there, leg kick up Ian Garry. Maybe Ian Garry can't take leg kicks like that. We don't know. Maybe Vicente Luque can just destroy his calf or something like that, beat him up against the fence, make it a bit more of a dirty doggy fight. I don't know. There is some clear paths to victory for Vicente Luque here. I don't know why people are acting like this is a foregone conclusion that Ian Garry's going to win. Like, Vicente Luque, you can never count this guy out. Now, I've given the reasons how Vicente Luque can win. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to try and debunk myself here. And this is why I probably don't think this is going to work. But I'm just saying, I threw out the reasons why, and I know I'll have people opposing it, so I'm just going to do your job for you. This channel, I'm built differently. So, I mentioned he could go in there and time that left hook. But the thing is, Ian Garry did say he was never going to attempt that again, like the way he did against Song Kanan. But like I said, habits do die hard, but I feel like he is going to be very cautious. He would have been training wherever the fuck he was, very prepared. He's trained at Shootbox. For a lot of those guys at Shootbox, they fight pretty similar to Vicente Luque. They throw hooks the same sort of way. They got that, Brazilian Muay Thai style. So he's probably very prepared for that style. Plus training with Vicente Luque, he's probably been caught with that hook a few times. He's going to know, he's going to be really cautious of it. That is his main weapon on the feet. So I think for him to, I think he's going to be very cautious. I actually don't think this is going to be a very aggressive fight. I feel like this is going to be more of an outside leg kicking performance from Ian Garry. I think this is going to be a decision. I think he's going to really just go for a decision win here. I don't think he's going to go too crazy. I feel like he knows a lot about Vicente Luque's game. Here's another thing. Another point I forgot to mention. Sorry, I do apologize for this. I forgot to mention how Ian Garry mentioned that he needs to get Vicente Luque back for that DAS. So that, to me, provides that, Vicente Luque did DAS him. I'm not saying that he is definitely going to go in there and DAS him, but club and sub is also a possibility with how Ian Garry can get rocked, and I don't think he has the best chin. I could honestly see him getting club and subs, but again, that could be a mistake. Vicente Luque could go in there, get rock Ian Garry, have him fucking buzzed all over the place, running around like a headless chicken, like fucking spazzing out, like fucking doing the absolute chicken dance around the octagon. But he might fucking go too hard for the DAS. He could burn his arms out. He might fuck it up. And if that happens, Ian Garry's going to recover. And he's going to come back. That is a possibility. I feel like if you have Ian Garry hurt, you need to fucking pound that cunt's head in. Sorry for my language, but that's what you got to do. You got to fucking smack that guy's head into the ground. You got to fucking land uppercut, ground uppercut. You got to hold that motherfucker's head and just slam uppercut after uppercut to his fucking jaw. But anyway, again, I needed to mention that because it was going to be the next point I was going to go against. Another thing is the body shots. The body shots, I think, is a good way to victory. Obviously that could maybe get Vicente Luque caught with an uppercut or something in close, maybe an elbow, maybe Ian Garry times an elbow coming in while Vicente Luque is going for a body shot or something like that. But I've seen Vicente Luque mix to the body a few times. I feel like that would be a good thing to do, especially with a much taller opponent in front of you, like Ian Garry. Like Ian Garry is 6'3". I think Vicente Luque is like 5'11", I believe. I might actually be wrong on that. Let me just double check. I do believe he is 5'11", though. Or maybe he's 6 foot. Oh, yeah, 5'11". Okay, I was right. Oh, yeah, I thought he was 5'11". So, yeah, Vicente Luque, 5'11". Body shots are going to be really useful for someone like Ian Garry, especially with the way Ian Garry, sort of... Like, if you look at Ian Garry's stance and everything, he does sort of leave himself open to those body shots. Gabe Green was utilizing that against him. Like, that's why he got some really good body shots off on him. Sort of knocked him all over the place. Like, he does leave his body really open, obviously. He's very quick. He's got very good footwork, does Ian Garry. He's very fast. He's going to have a clear speed advantage here. I do think Vicente Luque does have the power advantage, obviously. So, anyway, I think the body shots is the one thing that I can't really see a reason why outside of, maybe times an elbow or an uppercut. But I do think body shots are going to be key for Vicente Luque here. He needs to turn this into a dogfight. Needs to try and fight at a high pace. Try and gas out Garry. Mix it to the body. First round. Go in there. Fight a bit of a dirty fight. Go in there. Clinch him up. Hit him to the body a little bit. Land some big bombs to the body. Try and mix it upstairs as well. Kick the leg, have a bit of a feeling out round. Try and not get, beat up too badly. He'll probably take some damage in that first round. Let's be real. That's probably what's going to happen here. Then the second round, after, tearing up the calf, a little bit of Ian Garry, mixing it to the body. He needs to go out there, kick the calf a few more times, act like, try and get him to the center of the cage, and then act like you're going to throw a big bomb, and then you turn that into like a double leg or a single leg or whatever takedown of choice Vicente Luque favors. And he needs to try and get him down. If he can do that, he needs to try and, hold on to Ian Garry on the ground and just try and unload some big uppercuts as he tries to get back to his feet. Because if you'll notice, the way Ian Garry jumps back up, he does leave his hands like away from his face. I feel like the thing is, Vicente Luque shouldn't go in there to try and grapple fuck Ian Garry. I think that's going to be a hard thing to do. Like, Vicente Luque doesn't really have the greatest top control, and Ian Garry does seem to have some pretty good get-ups. So I don't know if he'll have Ian Garry on his back. Maybe he will. I'm not saying that's impossible, but I think it's unlikely. But he needs to just try and utilize fighting a bit of a dirty fight when he gets up. Just try and clinch him up, try and just uppercut, or hook. Just keep hooking to his head when he goes to get up. Try and hit him on the temple, hit him on the chin. I just feel like that's probably the best path to victory there, is like just trying to mix up a bit of a dirty fight, go into the body, use the takedowns to land shots. Don't use them for position. Use them not for submissions or positions. Use them for actual striking maneuvers, if you get what I mean. Maybe also when he gets up, try and time knees. Vicente Luque has really good knees. We did see Song Kanan utilize those knees. I feel like try and get Ian Garry down, and then, prepare for him to get back up, and then time a knee perfectly on his jaw. That is the way Ian Garry will get KO'd in this fight by Vicente Luque. That is Vicente Luque's best path to victory, in my opinion. Maybe this doesn't turn out to be right. Obviously, I'm picking Ian Garry, so I'm picking against this actually happening. But this is just the ways I can see him winning. I'm tired of the disrespect people are giving Vicente Luque. Nobody's given this man a chance. He has a really good chance. I will say he did look a bit shot against RDA, though. That is true. That was probably his worst striking performance in a while. His striking looked a bit not as good as usual. His striking didn't look as crash hot. Maybe that was just because of the time off. Maybe he was worried because of, what happened with Jeff Neal. Again, I'm picking Ian Garry to win a decision here. But obviously, I hope Vicente Luque wins. But yeah, if Vicente Luque, if you watch this video, I know you watch MMA videos on YouTube, fucking make sure you watch this video, please. Try this out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he gets caught. If it is, it's not my fault. This is just the ways I see him can sort of utilize some flaws in Ian Garry. Obviously, the tall man defense, the way he gets up, timing knees, maybe even just mixing in the grappling, going to the body. The body shots seem to be something he doesn't handle very well, from what I notice. But anyway, I could be completely wrong here. Maybe Ian Garry goes in there and fucking destroys him, which, I am picking him to win by decision, like I say, but still, anyway, I'm grasping at straws here. I'm just going on. Anyway, if you made it this far into the video, make sure you give this video a like. Subscribe, please. Pretty please. God, I sounded so desperate there. But hey, if you like this content, make sure you do subscribe. And yeah, give me your thoughts. What does Vicente Luque have to do here to get the victory over Ian Garry? But anyway, yeah, that's all I've got to say. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.